guys, Samantha from JSMO Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create faux moonstone with polymer clay. So I'm working with translucent clay here. Now the more translucent you can, the more translucent brand you can get, the better. I'm sorry if that's not making sense, but I'm using Primo today, but Cernit and Pardo are a bit better. I know that it's harder for people to get hold of that, so that's why I'm working with Primo today. But if you can get hold of Cernit or Pardo, that is the superior brand because their translucent is a little clearer than the Primo. So that's what I was trying to explain there. So if you can't get hold of those brands, then swap them out. But if you can only get hold of Primo, then this is what it looks like. So I'm just taking unconditioned pieces and I'm just chopping it up into segments. And I'm going to chop them quite fine, like so. Now I'm going to be putting paint on this. Now instead of making a mess and putting paint all over the tile, I highly recommend getting a plastic bag and putting your pieces in there. And now this is why I'm working with unconditioned polymer clay, because the pieces generally don't stick to each other as much. Any pieces that you do feel stick together, just kind of separate them before you put them in the bag, but it's okay if some of them do stick. There we go. Then I'm going to grab some white paint, and this is just regular white acrylic. There we go. Going to put a bit in there. Then the next bit, you want to make sure you get plenty of air in the bag, so I'm going to close it up and then blow some air in there. And then close it up. So you can see there it's a nice full bag. And then just shake. And that will evenly disperse the paint and prevent mess. Then when that's done, just grab a piece of paper and tip out your clay. Now because there's a lot of paint in there, if you wanted to make a second batch, you could actually put the clay straight in there and you'd be able to get some of that paint that's still in there. So you can actually end up using the paint multiple times. But yeah, I'll just pop it onto the tile there. Or not tile, it's a piece of paper. And I'm just going to spread it out a little bit just to make it so that it dries quicker. And just allow the paint to dry completely before moving on to the next step. Okay, and then once it's dry, I'm just going to put that together. And now there might be a few wet spots still, but that's fine. But mostly dry, that's all I care about. My impatience won't allow me to wait completely. Okay, and it's just a little bit still sticky, but it's perfectly fine. And I'm just going to work that together, making sure that all the pieces stick together properly. You can apply liquid clay to it, but I find that you don't typically need that, especially if you do this compression process correctly. And we're going to be cutting it out and rolling it out into pieces, so you're not going to need to worry too much about adding liquid clay or anything like that. So let me just quickly clean the tile. Okay, and also zoom you out a bit. But there we go, you should have a block of clay there. Okay, then we're going to just cut out pieces. And you want them all to be roughly the same thickness. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you want it pretty close. There we go, and I'm going to take these end pieces, and sometimes you can use them, but for this technique I'm not going to be using it. And I'm just going to press these pieces together, like so. There we go. Okay, and I've just popped that onto a piece of paper. And then this next step is just to ensure that those 4 pieces are bonded together, because we're going to be rolling this out through the pasta machine. Or I'd rather actually use my roller. I'm not going to use the pasta machine because you can get dirt pieces, and I want it to stay perfectly translucent and clean. But we're basically going to roll this out with our roller, stretching out the pattern, so you want to make sure that all your pieces are stuck together and bonded well before you do that, and that's what this process here is, just giving it a quick burnish. Okay, there we go. Then just gonna roll that out, stretching out our pieces. Okay, and I'm gonna get it to a certain thickness. Oops. That's fine, we can fix that. And that's just because it's sticking to the roller. Again, that's not something I'm too worried about. Just press that back together again and give it a quick burnish, and that will fix it up. And there we go. Then I'm just going to lift that up off this paper. I want to have a look at the back as well, and the back looks good as well. Then the next step, I'm going to be applying it to our tile. Make sure it's a tile that you can bake on, because you don't want to be moving this after we've cut the pieces out. And I'm just going to burnish that onto the tile because I want it to be stuck down when we cut this out. There we go. Then apply a piece of plastic wrap. Okay. And when I apply it, I try to get it wrinkle free. It's okay if it wrinkles on the outside, I just want the piece, the part that's touching the clay, to be as wrinkle free as possible. Okay, then I'm going to bring over my cutter of choice, which is just this little one here. And because we're making Moonstone, I'm going to be making small pieces. Then you can see we have some join lines here. Generally when I cut, I try to avoid the join line, just because it looks better that way. And I'm going to cut down, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't cut through the cling wrap, because I want it to have a nice domed effect. And that's what the cling wrap's for. It both prevents the cutter sticking in the clay, but mostly it's there to provide a really nice domed look. And I'm going to cut out 2 other pieces, or another piece. And then I'm going to bring over another pair of cutters over here. There we go. I'll just cut those out with that one. Okay. Then we're going to lift our cling wrap like so. And the cutters that I used should have cut cleanly, even with a cling wrap. There we go. And there we go, we've got our pieces. Now, I know that it doesn't look like Moonstone yet, it doesn't have that nice blue glow to it. And the reason for that is I'm going to be using this colour shift powder, but it's not completely translucent, and so I don't want to just be brushing it straight on. I'm going to actually apply it in the varnish. So if you don't want to varnish your pieces, you can just kind of brush it straight on. Don't mix it into the clay, it doesn't really come across all that strongly if you mix it into the clay, so you can brush it on top. Just give it a nice light brush over. You don't want to be covering up all these lovely veins that we've created, but if you can, I prefer to wait and put it into the gloss varnish. Bake these for a full hour at pretty much recommended temperature, and then we can varnish them. Okay, and here they are out of the oven. So I've let them dry, and they look quite nice as they are. Nice and clean, but obviously they don't have the shine to them. So I've got some Varathane off to the side here, and what I've done is I mixed the colour shift powder into the Varathane. So I'm not sure if the camera can pick up there, but it's got this really lovely blue shine to it. And now once it's cured or dried, it will go translucent, and it will just give a very light blue sheen to it. So just make sure to mix it up a little bit, because your the powder will settle. so don't let it sit for too long. And I'm just going to paint that over the surface. Hopefully you can see there how it's now giving a lovely blue glow without hindering the pattern underneath. Bring this over so I can hold it. And it's also going to be varnishing it at the exact same time. So you're just getting 2 steps in one. And I just find it's a nice easy way to get that colour shift powder on there in a nice even, not too overbearing coat. And I would do the back as well after this has finished drying. And I will repeat with all the other pieces, like so. Okay, and here they are out after I have finished varnishing them. So you can see there what a lovely light blue sheen it's got to it. Also put it on the back so that it's got that kind of blue sheen, and it's not hindering the pattern of the piece at all while still giving it that moonstone shine. Now I've just finished them off with a simple earring design. I didn't show that because I show it in a lot of my tutorials, and so I thought I'd skip through that. You can use any design that you want for the earrings. You don't necessarily have to follow the ones that I did. Today's tutorial was mostly just about showing how to get this lovely moonstone effect. And you can use a similar technique to create faux labradites. If you're interested in seeing that, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, there will be a poll for the next faux tutorial in the community tab after this video has been released public. There should be a link in the description below for that. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please do consider leaving a like, as that helps out the channel and is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to support further, please do consider becoming a member of the channel or even a patron. I post exclusive videos to those sites that cannot be viewed on YouTube that are a little more complicated and go into some more complex techniques. And it's another great way to support the channel and is greatly appreciated. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.